Today, we're stepping into a moment that might turn out to be historic in the world of digital communities. It's not just another app update. It's not just a minor tweak to an existing feature. What we're witnessing with PiSocial could very well be the start of a completely new kind of online interaction, something that moves us closer to what people have been calling Web3 social infrastructure. And the timing? Absolutely fascinating. The launch of these upgrades isn't random. They're arriving on the exact day that Pi Network's Open Network officially goes live, September 3, 2025. Think about that for a second. A brand new open blockchain network, paired with a redesigned social layer that aims to be its beating heart. It feels less like a software patch and more like a re-architecture of how digital communities might actually work in the future. So in this deep dive, I want to explore everything this means. We'll look at the technology powering PiSocial, the role of identity and trust, the opportunities for governance and decision-making, the ways you might actually earn and contribute, and of course, some of the challenges ahead. This isn't just about Pi, by the way. This is about what happens when social media and blockchain collide in a meaningful, functional way, and why this moment might matter for all of us who spend a huge chunk of our lives online. Laying the foundation. Imagine you're building a new city. Before the skyscrapers rise, before the shopping districts bustle, before families move in, you need roads, water lines, power grids. Infrastructure. Without it, nothing sustainable happens. PiSocial's new engine is exactly that infrastructure. It comes in the form of something called Protocol v23.01, launching today alongside the Open Network. This protocol isn't flashy at first glance, but its features are what make PiSocial different from just another Web3 project. The protocol introduces decentralized identity verification. And here's where it gets interesting. Instead of usernames and passwords stored on some company's server, PiSocial is tapping into a blockchain standard called ERC-3643. If ERC-20 is for fungible tokens and ERC-721 gave rise to NFTs, ERC-3643 is built specifically for verifiable digital identity claims. What does that mean in plain English? It means your identity can be verified in a decentralized, tamper-resistant way, proof that you are real without a central authority holding all the keys. That's critical because trust is the lifeblood of any community. Without it, you're just drowning in bots, fake profiles, scams, and manipulation. Now, couple that with biometric authentication, logging in with a fingerprint or Face ID rather than passwords, and suddenly we're talking about a social platform that's not only more secure but far more resilient against the weaknesses of Web 2. And for the technically minded, the expansion of Linux node support is a big deal. It means more people can run nodes, strengthening the network and distributing power more widely. Combine that with full support for public smart contracts, and what you've got is an environment where apps, services, and communities can actually build on top of PiSocial, not just exist within it. Why identity is the game changer? Let's pause on this idea of identity, because it's probably the most profound shift PiSocial is introducing. Think about your current online life. On Facebook, your identity is whatever the platform says it is. On Twitter, your credibility comes from blue check marks and followers, both controlled by algorithms and corporate policies. On Instagram or TikTok, your value is determined by engagement metrics that mostly benefit advertisers. But in a decentralized world, your digital identity becomes a true social asset. With Pi's decentralized KYC system, once you're verified, that verification isn't just a badge. It's a reputation anchor. It's portable. It's proof of participation. It can tie directly into governance, into your standing in the community, even into the rewards you might earn. Picture it like this: instead of your online presence being fragmented across dozens of platforms, it's consolidated into something you control, backed by cryptographic proof. Your reputation is no longer trapped in someone else's database. This is where the .pi domain system comes in too. Domains are being auctioned right now through the end of September 2025, and if you win one, it becomes a unique digital home. Link it to your PiSocial profile, and suddenly you have a consistent, recognizable identity across the entire ecosystem. In a world where identity theft, impersonation, and bot swarms are rampant, this is no small thing. Governance: who gets a voice? Once identity becomes solid, the natural next step is governance. Because if people are real, if their reputation is verifiable, then maybe they should actually have a say in how the system evolves. Pi Social is leaning heavily into this. Verified pioneers who have completed KYC and migrated to Mainnet are promised voting rights. That means real decision-making power, the ability to submit proposals, to vote on changes, to influence how network resources are allocated. Now, on paper, that sounds wonderfully democratic. But let's be honest, many blockchain projects have promised decentralization and ended up with power concentrated in the hands of a few whales or a core dev team. The real challenge isn't just giving people voting buttons, it's making sure governance remains broad, fair, and transparent. Here's where smart contracts come in again. By encoding governance rules directly into code, who can vote, how votes are counted, how proposals pass, Pi Social creates guardrails against manipulation. No backroom deals, no opaque policy changes. At least in theory. Of course, participation has to be accessible. If only coders can understand how to propose changes. Or if the voting system is clunky, then you're not really decentralized. So accessibility, interfaces that make governance feel as natural as posting a status update, will be critical. Privacy, security, and control. Security has always been the Achilles heel of online platforms. Password leaks, data breaches, hacked accounts, we've all seen it. With Protocol v23.01, Pi Social is trying to flip the script. Biometric authentication, as I mentioned earlier, is a big leap. But even bigger is the move to decentralized data storage. Instead of your posts, messages, and connections living in one giant corporate database, they're distributed across the network. Encrypted. Redundant. Resistant to censorship or catastrophic leaks. And here's the kicker, you control how your data is used. Want to allow a DApp to access your profile for a specific purpose? You grant that permission. Don't want your data sold to advertisers? Then it isn't. That simple shift from platform ownership to user ownership is arguably the beating heart of Web3. Monetization and social rewards. Now, let's talk about what probably excites a lot of people, earning from your participation. PiCoin is still finding its footing in terms of open market liquidity, but within the ecosystem, it's already usable. The vision is simple, the time, effort, and creativity you contribute online should generate value for you, not just for the platform. That could mean earning Pi for posting quality content that gets engagement. It could mean being rewarded for moderating discussions, for contributing to governance, for helping onboard new members. It could even mean access to premium domains, exclusive dApps, or other perks within the ecosystem. This is a radical shift. Right now, on Web2 platforms, our clicks and posts mostly enrich shareholders. In Pi Social's model, value creation is recirculated back to the participants themselves. If it works, it could transform how people think about spending time online. But let's be real, tokenized social platforms have struggled before. If rewards are tied only to volume, you get spam and low-quality content. If the incentives aren't carefully designed, people will try to game the system. Pi Social will need to focus heavily on rewarding quality participation and community building rather than noise. Challenges and the road ahead. Of course, no project is perfect. Pi Social faces real challenges. Liquidity of PiCoin is still limited, making monetization feel less tangible for now. There's a perception that the core team still holds outsized influence, which can feel at odds with decentralization. Developers need better tools and documentation to actually build the decentralized apps that will make Pi Social thrive. But none of these are deal breakers. Liquidity tends to improve with adoption. Decentralization is a process, not a switch. And developer ecosystems take time to mature. These are growing pains, not fatal flaws. The bigger picture. So, what does it all add up to? Pi Social isn't just being polished, it's being rebuilt from the ground up to serve as the social foundation of the Pi network. With decentralized identity, community-driven governance, biometric security, distributed data storage, and tokenized rewards, it's attempting to create something fundamentally different from the social platforms we know today. It's an experiment, a risky one, but a fascinating one. If it works, it could reshape not just the Pi network but our expectations for what online community should be: transparent, user-owned, and value-sharing. And here's the poetic part: in Pi Social's vision, every contribution isn't just a fleeting post, it's part of the architecture of the future. Each comment, each vote, each interaction is a building block in a system where identity and community are at the center, not at the margins. That's a powerful idea. In conclusion, whether you're already part of the Pi ecosystem or just watching from the outside, this is one of those rare moments where you can see the blueprint of something new being laid out. Will it succeed? Time will tell. But one thing's clear: Pi Social isn't just trying to fix social media. It's trying to reimagine it.